You know the Uyghur genocide that's going on in China? So there's a form of TikTok activism that's going on that spreads awareness. So let's take a look at this TikTok first.
Hi guys, so I'm going to teach you guys how to get long lashes. So the first thing you need to do is grab your lash curler, curl your lashes obviously, then you're going to put them down and use your phone that you're using right now to search up what's happening in China, how they're getting concentration camps, throwing innocent Muslims in there, separating their families from each other, kidnapping them, murdering them, raping them, forcing them to eat pork, forcing them to drink, forcing them to convert different religions if not, or else they're going to, of course, get murdered. People that go into these concentration camps don't come back alive. This is another Holocaust, yet no one is talking about it. Please be aware. Please spread awareness. And yeah, so you can grab your lash curler again.
So yeah, great tips and a very unexpected turn in the middle. But what she says has a point. So let's take a look at some news that's covering what's happening in China with the Uyghurs right now.
There are many accounts of people who have had their relatives disappear into the camps, and we don't really know what's happening to them.
Can I ask you why people are kneeling, blindfolded and shaven and being led to trains in modern China? Why? What is going on there?
I do not know where you get this videotape.
The Uyghurs are a Turkic Muslim group. They live in the northwestern territory of Xinjiang in China.
Wow. So China and the US are roughly, they're pretty close. As near as makes no difference, the same size, right? And
Square footage wise?
yeah, imagine like a territory like the size of
Texas?
bigger than Texas, I feel like. Maybe
Alaska.
Alaska, yeah. This is where the Uyghurs live, in the Xinjiang province. They're a Turkic Muslim group, and they're basically, this is an area where the genocide is happening. It's like this huge area of China.
A region that is rich in resources like oil, natural gas, and copper. And it is a region that is also important to China politically because it was briefly independent in the 1940s. And since 1949, since it's been under Chinese control, there were various clashes and incidents of terrorism, both in Xinjiang and in other parts of China, either attributed to or claimed by Uyghur extremists. It seems to be that the Chinese authorities see Uyghurs and other Muslim minorities that are in Xinjiang, that they basically see them all as potential separatists or terrorists. So if you go to Xinjiang, it looks like somewhere that is in the middle of a civil war. There are checkpoints everywhere, there's armed police, military.
To be in Xinjiang means being checked every day, multiple times a day. When you go to a market, when you drive a car, when you take a train, even your smartphone is checked.
It is difficult to report there because you will be followed by state security agents that basically intimidate you and intimidate anybody that you try to speak to.
Why can't we ask some questions?
These police stations everywhere and, cameras, so many cameras.
The BBC has seen new, detailed satellite analysis of dozens of suspected camps across Xinjiang.
Wow, look at this. It's like a city.
The Chinese government claims that these...
Dang, so the Chinese government basically treats them all like terrorists. And they installed like cameras that look over like everyone's doors, basically. It's like if 9/11 happened in America. Oh, it almost... Anyways, and then we decided to like go crazy on like spying on our own citizens because we instead of putting the enemy in Afghanistan, we put the enemy in our own country. And all of a sudden, like, our citizens of our own country was the enemy, but they all happen to live in Alaska. And so it's easy to treat them differently. That's great. It's like the Jim Crow era in China right now.
Or the right now era.
Yeah.
Claims that these camps are vocational training centers and that people are not forced to go to them, that the detainees in them are not detainees but students.
Like most boarding school, students here take classes, play sports, and do all kinds of extracurricular activities.
and they learn
All against their will.
remarkable employable skills, and they learn Chinese, and they come out better off.
This is what it wants the world to see.
But we know
Do you know like the Scientology brainwashing camp that they send the bad Scientologists to? This is what it reminds me of. It's like cultish brainwashing. These aren't re-education camps. They're brainwashing camps.
This is what it wants the world to see.
What is a re-education?
I
It's
know.
not washing
But we
their
know
brain.
from accounts from people who have been inside the camps that these camps are de facto prisons, and people have
They
to
wanna
go in
install
them.
a
They don't have a
different
choice.
IO.
They're separated from their families, and inside they undergo basically political indoctrination. So that can include having to sit for hours and listen to speeches by Xi Jinping, or singing patriotic songs, or listening to lectures about the party. We also have heard of cases of torture, so people being strapped to something called a tiger chair for hours.
Each time I was electrocuted, my whole body would shake. I begged them to kill me.
There have also been reports of forced medication, forced sterilizations.
Mothers, fathers, siblings and lovers, all that disappeared. Their Uyghurs flung into Chinese camps. Their relatives say it's ethnic cleansing.
This is a crime against humanity, crime against the Uyghur people.
The US Commission on International Religious Freedom believing it might meet the legal criteria for genocide.
Yeah, okay, I take it back. It's not like Jim Crow. It's more like the Holocaust in China for this people group.
Well, they've been doing it for a while, and no one's been saying anything.
I mean, it's like, what can you do
And
without
so
the
they've been building and building more of these camps.
I know, but it's like, what can you do without going full-on war with China? It's like how we knew the Holocaust was going on, but I think, it's like we waited. I don't know. I don't know what happened, but yeah, we've known for a long time. It's like, what's going to happen to resolve it, if anything, I guess. Let's keep going. A minute left.
So sorry to interrupt, but according to your own local government statistics, the population growth in Uigher jurisdictions in that area has fallen by 84% between 2015 and 2018. 84%.
That's not right.
That's
I gave you
Chinese
an official figure. You ask me, I give you this figure as a Chinese ambassador.
People have recently been talking about what.
Sorry, I wanted to. He says, so this BBC reporter says the Uyghur population has dropped 84%, and then this Chinese ambassador, he'll come back. It didn't show on this clip, but he says that the population doubled, and it's like, this is the reason why freedom of the press is so important. Is because with China, I don't think you have free.
Well, it doubled with what kind of Chinese people?
Right, no, but
Chinese.
the point being,
if they've
the point being is China has censorship and their own state media that gives out the official figures. And this Chinese ambassador,
everything is all state owned.
Right. He can basically say whatever he wants, and that'll be the official figure. But then the reason why the freedom of the press and free speech and why we have that and celebrate it so much in America is because we have the press that's able to challenge the government and do their own independent research. And that's the freedom of press means you can challenge what your government says. And they don't have that in China. And so they can make up whatever numbers they want on the spot. It's
but
so
the
ridiculous.
the rest of the world doesn't have to believe them.
I know.
We
No,
don't
I
take
know.
them for their
I'm just
word,
outlining why this situation makes it clear why freedom of the press is so important in a country. Okay, let's keep going.
People have recently been talking about whether or not we can finally say that this is genocide. And what human rights investigators say is that this is not a genocide in terms of, in one go or in a condensed period of time, people being exterminated, but it's a slow process of erasing an identity and a culture and a population. Because we've seen things like forced sterilizations and IUDs being put into women and intermarriage being very much encouraged.
Oh my gosh, she looks so sad.
It seems that there is some effort to reduce the population. And so some people would say that now should amount to genocide.
And they promised to keep my family alive.
I am sure the U.S. military-industrial complex is just drooling at the opportunity to go to war with China.
No, who's gonna want to go to war right?
I don't know. Honestly, why
You're just gonna try to blow everything up and see what survives?
We've been in war for 19 years or something, since 2003 for just a ridiculous amount. No one cares.
I mean, we're already doing like economic warfare with them, aren't we?
I know, but it's like, I don't know. I'm sure they wouldn't. I'm sure they wouldn't mind. Their morals seem to be whatever keeps the war going, and whatever keeps the
U.S. government.
The U.S. spends over 50% of their national taxpayer money on military.
Billion.
And so it's like, why?
And then by the time all the vets come back and they're coming back younger and younger, it's like you got nothing for them.
And
they don't even take care of them. They let them go sit in the streets homeless.
The only way they can get more money is if they engage.
No mental health help.
The only way that military industrial complex can make more money is if they engage in a bigger war.
I guess. Or a war against its own people right here. Why ship anything anywhere?
I don't think if they kill all of us, Portland? If they kill all of they don't want to kill their taxpayers.
They're not killing them. They're just like saying, look.
No, they want
done. And they want
an excuse to increase their budget. No, they want an excuse to increase their budget. That's why it makes sense for them to go to war with China, because all of a sudden you have a bigger enemy.
Well, they'll just, if they want to increase their budget, they
need to find a bigger
another
enemy.
Agent, DHS.
What? No, that's the military industrial complex wants more money.
I know,
not the U.S. federal government.
They all do the same thing.
No, but how does the military industrial, they've already influenced the U.S. Congress to spend over 50% of the U.S. budget on war. And so it's like, how do they get more money is to engage in a bigger war.
Well, they're always constantly at war.
I know, so that's why I'm saying I think they're drooling at waiting to go to war with China. I think honestly they find it as a huge opportunity.
I guess.
That's why they keep painting them as the enemy. Everything in the news is like China this, China that, in the worst way.
He keeps calling it the China virus.
Yeah, no, honestly, I think they're telling him to.
This?
They're his donors,
because they
which
know
are a
he'll
big
say
part
it. They know he'll say it.
Yeah, it's like, why did the Democrats keep increasing his spending every year?
China virus the way he does. I'm like, oh.
No, honestly, that's why I say I think they're really waiting to go to war with China. I think that's what they want. Hi everyone, hope you liked the video. Remember to like and subscribe if you want to see more.
Happy 420 wherever you are. Bye.
And if you don't have buds, we're your buds.